Social Ventures Hong Kong. We run an venture philanthropy organizations. So it is apart from a fund, we create social innovation in Hong Kong. So I have a very aggressive task today to let you know how to be a social innovator in 15 minutes. So that's what we learned in these couple of years. So there are a couple of things that we do, like all these, Diamond Cab, Dialogue in the Dark, Table for Two, Green Monday, all are our projects. So around 10 projects right now. So we work with all different type of social innovators. So they come out, they are not born to be a social entrepreneur, but we try to provide support, bridging up with some other resources. So I'm going to share with you some of the secret recipe today to be a social innovator. So first of all, what you need to do is to sign up a marathon. Anyone heard that a group of crazy people came back from North Pole for a marathon in Hong Kong? Anyone of you? Yes, I'm one of those. Actually, this is me. I just came back last month from a North Pole marathon. We literally run in under minus 30 degrees Celsius. And then last year, actually, I got some tent made together with me here today. Last year, I was in the Race to the Planet Gobi March. It's 250 kilometers over 7 days, self-supported. So this is the first thing you need to learn to be a social innovator. No, just kidding. But to me, I think the path of social entrepreneurship is somewhat like running a marathon. It's a long road, but every single step, it counts. So with that, actually, it will bring you to the last goal. And then every one of us, when we reach the finish point, we are winner. There's no one winner. That's the beauty of a marathon. But to me, the extreme weather, actually, by the way, in the Gobi Desert is 40 degrees Celsius. So from within 1 year, I've been to minus 30 degrees Celsius and also 40 degrees Celsius. So, but to me, when I come back to Hong Kong, I find that Hong Kong is quite an extreme place as well. Because in Hong Kong, we have a lot of issues. I spotted a couple of yous in this queue. Here is here, but don't worry. But at the same time, we have a lot of queues in other part of the world in Hong Kong. Every place is queuing up, right? We got someone queuing to shop, but with someone queuing for services. For example, the subsidized nursing elderly home in Hong Kong, it takes 3 years for people to get in. But 1/3 of the queue would disappear naturally. Subsidized housing, 3 years, but if you can project through 4 years, 5 years, or maybe more later on, but provided that you got a Hong Kong ID card. But many new immigrants coming to Hong Kong, single mother, they have no ID card. They need to wait for 7 years before they could get into the queue. That's Hong Kong. We have a lot of development. Development means crashing out everything and build up new buildings. But at the same time, we are good at inventing housing. Cage housing, maybe you heard about that, right? Subdivided cubicles. Many people, many families in Hong Kong live in less than 10 square meters, 7 square meters, but they're paying, for example, 3,000, 4,000 Hong Kong. So the poorest people in Hong Kong paying the highest rent in the world. So that's Hong Kong. I find it is quite difficult to run in this desert, to me. So that's the current system creating. I think partly is also the education system. We're teaching the kid to be the top, getting the top mark, getting into the top school, finding the top job, and getting the top pay. But for that, it's not marathon, it's a sprint. So everyone is running for one gold medal. So there's only one winner. At the end, we create a world like this. 2% of the people is holding 50% of the global wealth. And that's what's happening in Hong Kong, especially a big metropolitan. So do we have a choice? I would say many people right now using many different ways to express their own opinion. Occupy Wall Street, Occupy Central, or many more things happening around the world, not just in Hong Kong, I would say. But I think in Hong Kong, especially in Chinese people talked about, we need a more balanced way of development. So if we could have someone to break the system, if we could get someone to build the system, is a more balanced way. I would say those people going on the street, shouting, actually, I actually like these type of people because they love the place. They love Hong Kong. But they just don't know how to express themselves with alternative way. So I would say right now, social innovation or social entrepreneurship is somewhat another way for people to think about how to use their energy in a positive way. So there exists a lot of people like Muhammad Yunus, a Nobel Prize laureate, 2006. He used the microfinance concept, helping 8 million of Bangladesh people getting out of the poverty cycle. Around the world, more than 100 million of people getting out of the poverty cycle because of microfinance concept. So he is a social innovator. An MIT professor quit his job at the age of 50-something, but he found one big problem in the world is the digital divide. Our current world is divided into two groups. One group with computer, or laptop, or iPhone, but another group with nothing touching on that. The village kids, they would never touch one computer in his whole life. But right now we talked about globalizations, urbanizations. So we are taking away a lot of opportunities from these kids. So he invented a machine called OLPC, one laptop per child. So that's a big invention, and he is a social innovator. Jamie Oliver got his MBE because of doing the 15 Foundation, a restaurant retrain the deviant youth, those youth coming out from jail, so provide them with a better job by training them to be a chef. So he is a social innovator. So I would say right now, in our current education system, no one teaches you how to be a social innovator. They not even talked about the social entrepreneurship. But I would say right now, in this part of the history time, I think it's really important for us to get to know more about everything else, apart from our very comfortable life. And also at the same time, we know how to find a way to help the human being to keep pursuing for a better and sustainable life. So right now, this is the part. 4 simple steps. It is actually our own model. There is a lot of different models, but within 50 minutes, I just got 50 minutes. So here is a model. First of all, is inspire, first word. Second is invent. Third, incubate. Fourth is invest. To me, I could see that these all 10 projects, more or less, coming out from the same process. First of all, we got some people come out and get inspired. He's quite passionate, he or she is quite passionate about the issue. For example, one of them, the 4 different roles first. First of all, when you go inspire, we need some people who is an explorer. He's somewhat like a researcher. He's good at observing, looking at insight from a social problem. He will go deep to find out what is going on with that social issue. Is there any actionable insight that we could work on? And second part, for the inspire, we need a whole lot of creativity. We talked about associations. So we need inventor to write on that issue, to think about crazy ideas. For the same issue, we got plenty of ways to solve that problem. So there's the second part that I could think of. But these 2 parts is just coming in the idea stage. More and more, many people will stop at that point because it's quite difficult to go into the third step. It's the incubation. So we need builder. So some people really applying entrepreneurship to get things done is the third part. And fourthly, I would say, is not the money come first. Money come at the end. When we build up some pilot, some prototype are already done, then investors could come in. And sometimes when we talked about resources today, it's not just about the money. It's about the people, the partners that we invest into it. So Diamond Cab, it's the very first branded taxi service dedicated to serve the wheelchair users in Hong Kong. It was launched 2 years ago. Right now, it got broken even by mobilizing a lot of taxi license owner as our partner, the Elderly Home Group as partner. These social entrepreneurs get the very first step done. She's Doris. She was a journalist for 15 years, but her mother was on wheelchair by that time. So she could feel how difficult it was to bring her mother out to go to see doctor. So she herself, in the first step, got inspired, very passionate about this idea, and one day she quit her job and go back to start on these things. So I think she will know all the details about the need because her mother suffered the same. So you can see that a lot of social innovators got their story. So somewhat what they do is quite makes sense to what his or her life. actually because it's somewhat very closely related to what they do. So right now, Diamond Cap is running around, is on call center. So it built up as a very successful business right now. It got broken even in the second year, but at the same time, serving more than 35,000 wheelchair holders, more than 1,000 wheelchair users signed up as members. So it's finally done. But first of all, the first step, Inspire. Doris applied what she is suffering with her family. Second part, Inspire. Julian just came. I think he will talk more about Dialogue in the Dark. But Dialogue in the Dark and Concert in the Dark is a project that we built up quite successfully in Hong Kong. It's a German franchise, the Dialogue in the Dark. But with 3 years of efforts in Hong Kong, first year it got broken even. Second year, we already given out some dividend to the social investors. So it's quite a successful social business we built up. But basically, in case you haven't been there, try to sign up in Mayfu. It's an experiential exhibition. When you go inside, it's a dark museum. It's complete darkness, a 75-minute tour. By the way, on TripAdvisor, it ranks #2 in Hong Kong. So check it out if you haven't yet. But after that, it's a very good inspiration for all the people get to know how it's like when you go blind. So it's a very inspiring social enterprises after all. But I would say, in terms of killing the discrimination in a city like Hong Kong, there are many, many different ways. But the entrepreneur, Andres from Germany, find out using this way is a very, very effective way. So this is the invention part that use a very brilliant concept. Using the negative side of something that we think about, the visually impaired would be very disabled, they cannot do anything except a massage or call center. But right now, we're using their capability to be our guide in the dark museum. So we are using their negative side to be a positive side. So I think this is a brilliant creation. So it's a great invention that we could quote as an example. So in the third part, incubation. It is a very difficult part to talk about because all different entrepreneurs got their own path to work on. But more and more, I would quote one example, it's like Green Monday. It's a project talked about Monday meat-free, advocating on that. Meat industry contribute 18% of the greenhouse gas effect. And in Hong Kong, meat consumption per capita, well, #1. We are much higher than the United States. So it is a big problem. So right now, we are advocating on that. But at the same time, we are leveraging a lot of partners in this incubation process. More than 600 of restaurant outlets launch many more options on Monday so that it could provide much easier way for the vegetarian to find some food outside. And we went into the schools, more than 500 of them right now. So it's a lot of collaborations. Right now, a lot of big corporate come to us to apply for the, to get some green concept to help promote their green strategy. So this is a lot of collaborations that we could apply today. We cannot just build things up like in the old world, very organically on everything. Oh, we get some funding to hire somebody to build up something. But I think right now we use a lot of collaboration, especially in the social innovation world, that it makes things much easier. And when you talked about social, actually a lot of big corporate are ready to collaborate with you. Lastly is about Invent. One of the projects is called Affordable Housing, like B. Right now, we're getting some investors providing some apartments. But in each apartment, we are having 3 sleeping rooms. We're re-renting that to 3 single-parent family. Because as I said, a lot of family, single parent are living in quite bad situations right now. So these investors right now is not getting the market rent, but they are collecting the at their affordability. So it's charging much lower on that. But with that build-up, we also will bridge up with a lot of the other social support for them. So it's somewhat like you're putting them into a different ecosystem. It successfully helped many of these families getting out of the poverty cycle. They have the intention to find a better job. They would know that, oh, there will be some people who support them. So we rebuild the neighborhood. So that made it easier for the investors to participate. In the past, it's just philanthropy or investments. But right now, we create a different way of social investing. So it is a brand new sectors. When we get something built up, the last part would be the investments. invest that we could do, leverage the investors' support and resources. So after all, 4 simple processes: inspire, invent, incubate, and invest. I would say there are plenty of different models, but I would just let you know that there is a simple way to see this, like one example that you could get you through. Don't expect that being a social innovator, you need money upfront. You need 3 million or 5 million. It's not that. But more and more, the secret recipe is the passion in the social innovator. Whether she or he will keep that passion all along, whether he himself is quite passionate about that thing, and then whether he will take the steps, really get the hands dirty to start some pilot, and then support will come around. It's the people at the end. When some people decide to do something, not just for themselves, it's for the other people as well, many support will come around, or the professional workers, or the investors as well. I'll end it up with one last camer back to the Gobi Desert Race, 250 kilometers. He's a Japanese guy. But unfortunately, he twisted his leg in the first day. He's 65 years old, by the way. So each day, he's taking a step like this, step by step, coming to the finish point. At the end, a lot of runners came back in the middle and then cheering at him and come back to the finish point. I think he's quite happy, and all of us got inspired. One of the volunteers decided, because of this occasion, to participate in this year's Gobi March. And last week, she finished it. From 0 running last year to this year, finished ultra marathon of 250 kilometers. So I think social innovator not just is aiming for getting a medal, but more and more he or she could inspire many more people around the world. Thank you very much.